Nora and I have been talking for a while, and then, was it last summit or 2 summits ago that Michael came and we had Miguel? That was 2 summits ago, maybe?
Yep.
Okay, anyway, super exciting news. The Ardmore Institute of Health funded Nora and I to work together for Eat Real, her group, my group, our group, and we have a really cute 6-minute video. Is that Dewey? What's the thing where we're cooking in my house?
Oh, our video. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's not right now. Our debut, our partnership announcement video. That's on.
Yeah, we have a
on social. It's at Eat Real.
Viral. So we're doing the social media thing. That's super fun. Turns out Jennifer, who runs all our stuff, did her PhD at UC Davis on school food. So now she's part of the panel. So Jennifer, you and so we're sort of bookending with co-moderators here. This is going to be fun. This is an institutional food setting where we are making great progress. Thank you. Take it away, everybody.
Yeah, so thank you.
School food.
I truly could not be more honored to have this be my first Food Summit panel. I'm always behind the scenes, but I am so excited to have you all here today. I actually am going to hand it over to Nora right away to kick us off with some introductions and why we're here. So.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so glad you're on the panel because you are a force, and you're a big part of why we're able to scale this work. So I'm so thankful to be co-moderating with you. And thank you, Professor Gardner. I'm going to cry if I talk too much about this, but we met a few years ago, and he really believed in the power of school meals, and he said, we need to research this, we need to scale this, we need to share learnings across categories from school food to hospitals, et cetera. So, and we just received funding to officially partner, and then we're also partnering, thank you to the Dover School of Sustainability, on another grant to share learnings across categories. And so this is the beginning, and this is a dream come true that we've been working on for a few years. And so to be with all of you today is a true honor, and we're just so thankful for the partnership with Stanford. So this is my favorite topic. I'm Nora LaTorre. I'm the CEO of Eat Real, which is a children's health and planet health nonprofit where we believe that every child deserves a healthy, delicious future on a livable planet. Something I know that's why everyone's here today, because we are trying so hard all together to create a better world and a better tomorrow for ourselves and for our communities and for our children. And so I just am going to share a little bit about the why of today's panel. And then I'm going to introduce some of my favorite people who are here on stage. I'm working on big, important things that makes all of this impact possible. I'll give an intro, and then I'll ask each panelist a question. If we have time, we'll have a little bit of a fire round. And then we will also be having a breakout that we would love to continue the conversation with you this afternoon. Meet us in the breakout. Find these incredible leaders at the delicious lunch, when there's snack, at the water fountain, et cetera, because we want to continue the conversations with all of you during this summit, and we'll be here all day. Or at happy hour, I hope you're all staying for that. So we just want to continue this rich dialogue with all of you. So in terms of the why, at Eat Real, we believe that changing school meals really changes lives. We believe that changing school food is the cause of our lifetime. We believe it's the big bet to create health for our country, for our children, and for our planet. So I just want to share a little bit about why school meals. So does anyone know, this is like my classic pop quiz, does anyone know what is the largest restaurant chain in America? Okay, McDonald's is the most common answer, and I just heard Subway. Correct. In unit locations, Subway is the largest restaurant chain in America, but it was a trick pop quiz because there's one that's bigger than Subway, Starbucks, and McDonald's combined. It's our US public school system. So there are more locations, there are like 90,000 locations across the country in just public schools. So if you think about it, schools, there are the most of them. They serve the most important customer, our kids. And so the scale is massive. And if you can change core calories for kids in school, some of our children depend on school breakfast, school lunch, and we just had the Sacramento Kings come and have school supper at some of our schools. So kids, especially low-income and historically underserved children in our nation, depend on school meals for their nourishment, for their development, for their lives. And so we believe at Eat Real that schools and changing school food to be healthy, delicious, sustainable, and local is the way that we recreate the supply chain in our food system, that we reimagine nutrition for our children, create not just food security, but nutrition security, and that we can really change lives. And so just in terms of scale, that's why this panel and why this work and these leaders are so crucial, because we think that the best way that we can create health is to stop disease before it starts and to get kids healthy, nourishing food that helps them really grow. And I will just say that, like at Eat Real, that this is our why. We have an award-winning certification program, and Professor Gardner came and had school lunch. That's how that actually started this whole thing. He tasted the deliciousness of school meals at Michael Jochner's school, which is Morgan Hill Unified, and he tasted the difference that it could make. And it's really Eat Real's certification program helps schools move with our standards from more ultra-processed food items to real food items and make a transformation and make schools the best meal for kids and the best restaurant in town. So with that, I'm going to give some brief intros, and then we're going to dig in right away. So with me today, I have some of my absolute favorite people. So I am going to mention their bios here that I have, which you can read about them online too, but I'm also going to hype woman them because they're some of my favorite. They're kind of a big deal, this group. So first of all, we have Aanya Singh, who is we only met in the last year, but she should run for president, I think. She is a rock star. She came all the way here today from Richmond, Virginia. She's a student, yes. She is a student champion with Eat Real, where she advocates for healthier, more sustainable school meals. And her passion began after noticing how ultra-processed school lunches affected her personal focus and mental health, which led her to change her own life, to explore the connection between nutrition, learning, and policy. And she also volunteers at local farms. She just started her own nonprofit. She helps with community fridges, and she joined us at the Capitol in DC for a lobby day to share her personal passion to make policy change across our country. This woman is unstoppable, and she'll be sharing a little bit more about her personal passion and how do we make this a student-centered movement with the student voice leading the way. Next, we have Bruce Taylor, the SVP of Marketing and of Earthbound Farms, it's the biggest organic salad company, and he is a fourth-generation leader in the produce industry, and he is cooking up change with the produce world, and has, from Salinas all throughout the country. They're a national organization. You serve 1 in 4 Americans, is it, lettuce every week? Is
a little bit more now.
Now? What is it now? Okay, that's an old stat.
We're getting closer to 1 in 2, which is pretty good. So.
Amazing. So if we can get more Americans eating vegetables, that is a huge opportunity. And so I'm so excited for you to get to hear from Bruce. We have Michael Jochner here, who's a food service director, nutrition leader from Morgan Hill Unified, as I mentioned. He was the first in the nation to become Eat Real certified green. Morgan Hill, yes, can we clap for that though? That's a big deal. That is a big deal. Our standards are very high, and he hit them. They serve organic produce from 6 local farms, bulk Strauss milk, regenerative beef, local eggs, all on compostable napkins and utensils. I mean, the list goes much further than this, removing single-use plastics. I show up randomly for school lunch way too often, probably, but it's so good. They are currently 55% scratch cooked, targeting 75%. And so he is showing what is possible in school meals. As a former Google chef, et cetera, he pivoted to the power of school meals. And then, you already know Jennifer, but she is, maybe you don't know that she's the Associate Director for Nutrition Studies Group, and she received her PhD in nutrition from UC Davis, and she's been working in the health and wellness field for 20 years. You can also talk to her about yoga, hiking, and baking later. So with that, I want to just dive in, and Aanya, I want to talk to you about student-centered change. This panel is about K-12 and students eating real food as the big bet. So let's talk to you about what that means from a student perspective. Can you share how your journey started for you and why you're passionate about this?
Yeah, of course. So hi everyone, I'm Aanya Singh. I'm a high school junior, and I'm also a student champion with Eat Real. very proud of that. But over the past few years, I've learned both out volunteering on the farm and in school cafeterias just how much that the food that we serve kids affects how we learn, think, and feel. Imagine this, like it's a regular school day. I'm in middle school, I'm sitting at my long plastic table at lunch. There's a bright blue drink in front of me and a fluorescent greasy piece of pizza. And I'm sitting and I'm eating and laughing with my friends. But by third period, my head hits the desk and like the brain fog completely takes over. I think I struggled so much with mental health in middle school, and I remember the 1:30 p.m. crashes and coming home from school feeling absolutely exhausted and miserable, and one day I just knew this needed to change. I started reflecting on what I could and couldn't control in my life, and I think the first thing that I focused on was what I was actually putting into my body. And through that, I rediscovered a simple lesson, like we really are what we eat. And I think but at 12 years old, I didn't have much say in what that actually was. I ate what was on my lunch tray, and that was it, what the school served to me. And over time, I realized that I could actually predict my afternoon mood based on what I was eating in schools. And that small realization sparked a much bigger question for me. I really wondered what is actually in our school meals and how is it shaping our generation's mental health. So I looked at the research, and there was a recent study in the Journal of Health that said that fifth graders that are served ultra-processed foods actually scored significantly lower on their standardized literary assessments. And I found that so strange because isn't school a place where we should be learning how to lead a healthier lifestyle and like become healthy adults with good habits? I think we all remember the diagram of a healthy plate with the 4 sections of grains, dairy, fruits and vegetables, and protein. But the USDA, who completes or starts their school's food standards, their main focus is to reach those 4 categories, but they don't actually focus on what is in those categories. There's no law that prevents ultra-processed foods in those based on the USDA. And many schools, since they're so underfunded and understaffed, they actually choose to serve hot dogs or chicken nuggets instead of actually providing a healthy source of protein in ways that students can feel nourished and complete. So yeah, I think these stats match up completely with what I've seen in schools, and I really wanted to create change and make students feel healthier about themselves. So I came across Eat Real and their mission, which is to reach 1 million students across the United States, and they're now in 18 states, so I think that deserves a round of applause.
We're in Virginia because of Aanya. She said, I want to help bring you to my state, and she did.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's really what drew me in, and I also wrote a literature review on their certification standards, and their standards 4.0, I think, just got released as well, so yes. And putting that learning into action, I also got to lobby on the Hill, which I think Nora mentioned for a quick second. But that experience, which I'm truly so grateful for, I learned so much from it, just basically the power of the state to drive national change. For example, West Virginia, creating a law that all artificial dyes and preservatives should be banned by 2028, that sparked national change. And I think it was so eye-opening to see how the federal preemption, like we lobbied against federal preemption of state laws. So I think that was the main point. It was also so eye-opening to see the disconnect between the lawmakers that are actually creating our policies and student voices like me. I was sharing my story, and they were completely unaware of the extent of this issue. Food chemicals are abundant in our school meals, and they had no idea. And I think that's why Eat Real's top-down approach is so important. They start at the school level and the state level and create change that trickles down to the students and creates basically a healthier lifestyle for them. But I also wanted to give a voice for students to come together and drive change. So that's why I created my own nonprofit, Clean Eats Coalition, where students can come together and create change at the local level and just provides a platform for them to speak and voice their opinions, because I feel like that is something that is not available right now, and policymakers need to be aware of that. So yeah, I think my main goal is to provide a place where students can know what goes into their bodies and really fuel their minds in ways that they need. So yeah, I think that's more about me.
Do you see why I'm the biggest fan of her? Let's sit it up, yes. And I'd like to offer Eat Real, the nonprofit Eat Real, as your nonprofit's first official partner, if that's okay. So like we would be a dream to partner with you in the student coalition that you're building. So thank you. Well, let's pivot a little bit and let's talk about a school example and one of my favorite leaders in the movement, Michael. If you could talk to us about your program. I want to hear what's on for school lunch today too, and the cutting edge initiatives you have. So if you could take us on a quick journey down the street to Morgan Hill and tell us what you're cooking up, that would be incredible. Because, I mean, I've had kale crumble focaccia at his district. I've had cauliflower masala. I've had the best salad ever. That was a combination, actually, of Taylor Farms and the salad he grew on site. I have had the bulk Strauss milk. Like, it is delicious every single time. So talk to us about what your vision and what you're cooking up.
Thank you so much. There's nothing left to say. Yeah, 9 years ago, the program at Morgan Hill was essentially plastic wrapped. Salad bars were not salad. Food was in plastic. You couldn't see it. Overwrapping of trays. It was a complete 180 from the Google food experience. Lifelong chef. I think Buckminster Fuller basically said something to the effect of, if you want to make a change, make the existing format obsolete. So that's kind of been my approach, is to make, I tell people I don't make school food, I just make amazing food in schools.
Love that.
And so, to get there as a chef, I really had no guiding light. So when I found Eat Real, they offered lots of resources and things that I, as a chef, could never hope to have, like R&Ds and nutrition experts and things like that. So we started a 2.5-year journey, completely transformed my systems. We're working with local farms within 50 miles. They're all certified organic, BIPOC, women-owned. The entire structure of how Eat Real assigns points and issues certifications is incredibly complicated. Just taking something off the menu and replacing it with something healthier is not necessarily the correct solution. It also has to be sustainably sourced, and you want to look into the entire ecosystem of how and why that piece of food is sitting on the menu. So yeah, now I'm proud that we're currently serving about 50-ish to 60-ish% items fully scratch cooked. This morning, the menu had scratch-cooked pancakes, locally sourced Fuji apples from Hikari Farms in Aromas, California. Smelling a delicious pancake in the morning, I'm sure that all of you just instantly thought of that. And we do that time and time again in our elementary school. So little kids, little 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds walking into a multi-purpose room or a cafeteria can smell those smells. So we're reprogramming their young minds to have those smells and not smell warm plastic. The high school lunch today is a tikka masala. We do a chicken tikka masala and then a chickpea vegetable-focused tikka masala. We also do our own scratch-made pizza. We partnered with a small farm that grew 5,000 San Marzano tomatoes for us. They produced 22,000 pounds of San Marzanos. We then sent that to a small processing plant in the East Bay where they turned it into a puree for us. And then we use that as the base of our pizza sauce, our bolognese sauce, and our spaghetti sauce, and our pasta sauces. So these kinds of things is just trying to reimagine the entire system that the school has to is confined to. Yeah, I'll just pause there.
Don't we want them to help cater next year? Like, this is so good.
I have actually a question. I want to know what kind of reaction you're getting from the parents. Like, how often are the kids going home and saying, "Mom, Dad, can you make this?" And Mom and Dad are like, I'm curious to know a little bit more about that.
Actually, parents are cool, so I appreciate you all. But here's my target audience.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm glad you mentioned middle school, Aanya, because recently the Associated Press was doing the AB 1264, the removal of ultra-processed ingredients in school food, which we already did through the help of Eat Real. So we're a living example that the system already works and it already produces delicious food, so check, check. But the middle school kids that we interviewed actually said, and it was like a cringe moment because this middle school boy said, after lunch I don't feel sick anymore. And then these two middle school young ladies then got up and said, now I'm heading to my class after lunch, my stomach doesn't feel full and I don't have, like you said, this fog. And these were unprompted. We just grabbed them out of a classroom, had them sign some waivers, and they started talking to the AP. So I just thought that was incredibly powerful. Aanya has a voice, and middle schoolers are finding their voice, but our elementary schools have no voice. The little boy and the little girl that come home and are bouncing off the carpet because they're hyped up on sugar, and Nora can talk about sugar, they have no voice. And so we're the adults in the room. Mm-hmm. We have to make that change.
And we're so excited. The Ardmore grant that we received with Stanford will be studying that behavior change that you're nodding to, of how does this not only change the kids' lives and how they feel, but then how does this impact the cafeteria workers? How does it impact the staff? How does it impact them going home and changing their families' habits, right? It's like kids who turn the lights off on their parents. It's kids who can teach about the power of real food nutrition. So we're really excited to study that with Stanford and with Michael. Two things really quickly, just because I can't stop hyping these people, is that Michael, just one other example, is that he actually, when he received his first Eat Real certified green in the nation, he wheeled a wagon into his school board and he said, "That's how much sugar I just removed from every child per year out of their school food." Yeah, clap for that. Yeah, it's like he removed, Michael, you should just carry a wagon with you, I think. But he removed 34 pounds of sugar per student per year. And the amazing thing about Michael is that he doesn't just stop at his school district and serving his 8,000 children amazing food at school. I love that. He actually raises his voice, and he was key in helping just pass AB 1264, which will protect children from the most harmful ultra-processed foods at school for all 5 million kids in California. So you're a legend. He's a legend. Okay, so he also has hydroponic lettuce growing, and he sources Taylor. So I want to talk about salad for a second. And I wish Taylor Farms has the coolest salad hats. Maybe that could be the swag next year. But let's talk about plants and salad, and I want to talk about Taylor Farms. So I was going to ask you, is it true if Taylor Farms serves 1 in 4 American salad, but it's 1 in 2, so we learned that. So I would love it, Bruce, if you could talk to us about why you're so personally passionate, I know you're also a dad, about the power of school food, and tell us more about our American food system. Generation after generation, your family has been working in our food system. And how do we help kids learn to love veggies and salad when less than 9% of kids get the daily recommended amount?
Well, first off, thank you for having me. It's a privilege and honor to be on the stage with all of you. I feel woefully unqualified to be talking about this topic, but here we are, so let's have some fun with it. My journey on school food actually started 20 years ago. I grew up in Salinas, California, salad bowl of the world, and I would walk into our school cafeteria. Our school is surrounded by lettuce fields, broccoli fields, berry fields, 360 degrees. We didn't have a single salad item on the menu. We had pizza, we had chicken nuggets, we had frozen items, bags of chips, all kinds of unhealthy items. And at that moment, a light bulb kind of went off. It's like, if we can't figure this out in Salinas, California, the salad bowl of the world, this is going to be really hard to figure out elsewhere. So on a very small scale, I just started driving my Tahoe to our processing facility in Salinas, and I would every day load up excess product that would either go to waste or food banks, and I would drive it to our school cafeteria and started stocking our school cafeteria with salads and vegetables and things like that.
That's awesome.
School cafeteria sample size of 1, but in that process, I learned some of the challenges that schools face across the country. Lack of refrigeration, lack of prep space, lack of kitchen space to cook meals from scratch. So some of the issues from a menu standpoint are structural. You go to the school districts and you ask, why don't they have salads? Well, they don't have the infrastructure to do so. They don't have the cold chain logistics to make it feasible. Fresh produce is perishable. It expires in 16 days, whereas you put something in the freezer, you can sit on it for multiple months or the full school year. So some of these challenges are really hard to solve, and that's where I think today Taylor Farms can help solve these problems. Today, as Nora said, we've been fortunate to grow. We were founded in 1995. We've been fortunate to grow into the largest vegetable company in the world today. We're the largest grower of organic leafy greens and vegetables in the world today. And we develop custom programs for the biggest retailers and food service chains in the country. So you talked about Subway, you talked about McDonald's, you talked about Starbucks, you talked about the Krogers. We're developing custom platforms that solve their problems. Why can't we do that for schools? You know, and frankly, we should be doing that for schools, and we've started to do that for schools. We've done this in multiple of our facilities across Tennessee and Tracy, California, where we're developing school-specific programs. There are still some challenges there when you talk about reimbursable levels and reimbursable amounts. If it's $4.50 a meal, fresh produce is expensive. So that's where scale can help. How do we make fresh produce attainable to where we're able to hit the same price points that a bag of chips is, or frozen pizza, or frozen chicken nuggets? So these are the types of solutions that we're excited to kind of work on today. We're inspired by the opportunities that introducing consumers to fresh produce early can have on their lives. For the long time, there had been a big focus on healthy eating having an impact on lifespan, kind of end-of-life outcomes, improving end-of-life outcomes. As you see with all these studies on the wall and all these anecdotes, there's increasing awareness that eating better today has impacts today. And we talk about a society of immediate and instant gratification. If we focus on those benefits and then deliver healthy, great tasting, delicious, fresh products, we really can start to slowly but surely shift consumers away from ultra-processed towards real food. And that's something that we're really excited by, and we hope we can help sort of scale all the great work from everyone in this room.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Yes! You know, and Eat Real was a little idea, and we've been working on it since 2012, and in 2019 when we went all in on school meals, and now we're about to reach 1 million kids in 20 states. And so finding certain unlocks and working with leaders like you to figure out how do we unlock the American supply chains and shift it towards more organic, to more vegetables, to more plant-powered richness, I think is a huge opportunity. So I'm excited to have more conversations about that, and thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know the personal story, and now we're working actually, we have more and more Eat Real certified districts in your backyard that I know your team has come and visited. So excited to also make sure that kids, that you don't just have to bring the truck of lettuce to the school, that like the schools can source it themselves too. So wonderful. Well, okay, I know Jennifer is normally behind the scenes and you all have been seeing her for years making this all come together, but I'm so glad that you're on stage because just her energy and her passion and her knowledge, I personally learned so much from you, and so I'm excited to be in conversation with you right now. So you love data-driven decisions, and you are one of those people who says that partnerships make the world go around, but you don't just say that partnerships make the world go around or talk about partnerships, you make them happen. You build them, you write the grants that make them possible, you have the group calls that pushes everyone together, like you are a partnership builder. So could you talk to us about why measurement in this work is so key? These stories are so key, but the data and the research is also essential. And we found that as we're doing more policy. You need the personal stories and you need the data. So we know that you and Professor Gardner love partnerships and you're exceptional, I would say, best that I've met at building coalitions. So why is this so critical and what are some of your favorite new initiatives?
I'm gonna thank you, first of all. I'm gonna start with the data piece. Some of you who know me may know this story. So I was pre-med, I was gonna be a pediatrician, that was my plan. Decided that I wanted to prevent kids from getting sick in the first place, so that's why I switched and did a PhD in nutrition. To date myself, this was a while ago, and there was a goal at that time to get a garden in every school in California. And what really struck me was how many schools wanted to do it, how few schools had the money to do it, and no one had the data to back it up to try to get funding. So that was really one of the pieces that kind of drove me towards this, like, let's let data drive our decisions. We need data to get the money to move these things. So that was kind of my driving force. My staff can all tell you, I am a firm believer in having data drive our decisions, and I know someone else has recently said, and so I'm kind of snagging this quote as well, is that you can't change what you can't measure. And I think that what's most powerful in this space is that there are so many things to measure. So for those of you that are, grad students, postdocs, there's so much opportunity for this rich data to be able to to change things. Like, what can we change? We can look at the food being served, and I'm going to ask you, Nora, in a little bit to tell us a little bit more about Eat Real, but there's so much that we can look at just within the certification piece. There's the student health that you were talking about, like that mental health piece. How can we get some both quantitative and qualitative data there? There's so many different pieces. I'm really curious to know more about kind of that operational efficiency. I want to know more about the staff that are preparing the food. Staff turnover is going to drop if they're more excited about the work that they're doing. Produce, like how is this kind of supply chain, like what does the supply chain look like? Christopher has mentioned that we have this money now from the Food Accelerator, from the Door School. And we're looking at greenhouse gases through the lens of procurement. Again, more opportunities to look at how we can start to make some changes. We can't make them all tomorrow, but we're going to try on Monday. That's your goal. I want everyone to act differently on Monday so we can start to move towards this. But I just think that there's this tremendous opportunity for data and really to look at this a little bit differently so that we can change some of our actions. At the end of the day, our food service directors can definitely tell you there's still economic forces at play here. So we need to make sure that we're also looking at ROI, and we've got some tremendous partners here today with us, both with the Ecopreneurship and Emergence and GSB that are kind of gonna help us start to look at this more closely. So clearly, I have kind of a passion towards data. We need to have data drive these decisions. I think I've said that a few times now. So the last quick piece on partnerships is that, as you've mentioned, I'm a huge believer that we can't do this alone at all. And I feel like just within the last few years, this partnership is really growing. I feel like this opportunity that we have with the Door School, with that funding, and everyone in the food accelerator space has been tremendous. I know you mentioned, Christopher mentioned, we also have money through Ardmore Institute of Health, which is, again, kind of this great opportunity to get a little bit of some funding so that we can start to expand this partnership, kind of expand some of this data. But we have other partners as well. So we're working with Santa Clara Unified School District on a farm camp. I know, Christopher, we've got lots of opportunities and partnerships with the O'Donohue Farm here on campus. Obviously, Eat Real, huge partner. We're going to partner with you and your nonprofit. But even more interestingly, I think, especially in this space, and you both have talked to this a little bit, is this unapologetically deliciousness, as Christopher likes to say. So we are partnering more and more with the Culinary Institute of America, because at the end of the day, we can't just give kids Brussels sprouts and ask them to eat them, or lentils and ask them. We need to be able to make sure that it is delicious, and it is delicious. I think we can all attest to that. So it's like, how do we start to pull all of these people together and to make these connections so that we can truly move things forward? So I just, clearly, a little passionate. I'll try to stop. Happy to talk more later. But with that, actually, Nora, I'd like to kind of turn this over to you, because clearly you have a very strong passion in this space as well. I have two questions for you. One is, tell us a little bit about that passion. How did you get into this space? What gets you up in the morning? But then also, for those of you that don't know, I'd love for everybody to hear a little bit more about the Eat Real certification.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely relentlessly passionate about this, and what gets me up in the morning is my kids. Like many of you probably, so I wake up a little bit before my kids, but creating a better world for them is what gets me up in the morning, and creating a better world for all kids is what really drives me. And my daughter was born in 2018, and you're a new mom, you're up at night nursing, or worrying a little bit about the world. I started researching, and I have a big background in food systems, innovation, and I learned about this concept we're actually calling American health collapse, where children potentially could have shorter lifespans and health spans than their parents. And I thought, and the biggest driver, what people don't realize, is preventable ultra-processed food-related diseases, or food diseases like heart and lifestyle-related diseases, diabetes, obesity, cancers, et cetera. And I thought, I worked in the food system, and I didn't realize that food was really driving sickness in our country, and that my kids could potentially experience fewer sunsets and I thought, progress in America is giving our kids better lives than we had. And like, how can I know all of this about our food system and not try to use my background to do good? And so I actually learned about Eat Real, which was originally founded by two doctors, Dr. Robert Lustig and Dr. Jordan Schlein, who saw how sick kids were getting, and they wanted to create a nonprofit that really made change, so I learned about the nonprofit, and as a new mom worried about this children's health crisis, I said, let's go big with this. And people may not know this, but there was actually the three options when I joined as a brand new CEO, not been a CEO before, brand new mom, were like, fold the nonprofit, merge the nonprofit, or go big. And I said, let's go big. And so we had this little idea. We're working with 50,000 kids, and now we're on track to reach 1 million kids this year. And it was like this school year, thank you, with leaders like Michael making it happen and getting their friends involved. And they've created this whole coalition of Eat Realies, these food service directors like Michael around the nation that want to create change. And now we think, and I'm like the first official group hearing this, we think that we can reach 3 million kids in 30 states in the next 3 years. It's so exciting. And our model is that we do three things. We help make schools the best restaurant in town. We change real food access for kids. That's working with our Eat Realies, working with nutrition directors and we believe heroes like Michael in schools across the country. We do awareness building, that's like culture change, that's campaigns. Our marketing team is here, Mandy and Matea, if you want to chat with them or have ideas for them about it. That's about how do we really raise awareness so kids and parents and communities know the power of real food. Andrew Gallery's here, we're working on a documentary together around that. So how do we really catapult awareness in our country? It's really starting to shift quickly, and even in the last few months, but how do we accelerate it even more? And then we do policy change. So how do we take all of our data and our new research partnerships and then really help do systems change at the state and national level and just change the system is not working. And so how do we just rechange the policy? So we passed the first sugar bill ever in America. We helped pass the first food dye bill. And then we just passed AB 1264 with Assemblymember Gabriel without Governor Gavin Newsom just signed that, help protect kids from ultra-processed food. So that's an example of how do we quickly change the food system, and there's so much more we can do in terms of policy change. So that's our playbook is change school food, change lives, raise awareness, and then do advocacy. And then we believe that by in 3 years, we can have the presence, the proof, the data, and the research, especially with all of you in this room. There's a huge research gap, and we need your help, and it's all hands on deck. And then so we can have the presence, the proof, and then the partnerships, which you know who's been ear whispering to me about that, the partnerships, like with Stanford, to be one of the top food systems, change children's health nonprofits in the nation. So that's our vision. I'll just add that I'm a big nerd, and I've been nerding out on the data and on our children's health crisis, and it's worsening fast. So I don't know if people know this, but they just came out with a report that 1 in 3 teens is now pre-diabetic. It's up 5%. Pediatric cancers are up, chronic kidney disease, fatty liver disease, 3 in 5 kids are on track to be obese by the time they're 35. The data is showing that this is urgent. So I'll just say the problem is so urgent, and the brilliance in this room and with Stanford has the potential to create the research, the partnerships, and I can't even predict what all of you could create, but we need your help. It's an all hands on deck moment for this children's health crisis and for the power of real food. And we as a panel, I think I speak on all of our behalf, we need your help in helping schools and the K-12 lever. We think it is a huge leverage point, and so we'd love your help on it at Eat Real, and I think also for this panel. So thank you for including me in that question. I think we have a little bit of time, it looks like, so I want to just shake things up. You had a pepper on your badge to keep things spicy,
yes.
So I think we'll just make things peppery. So I just want to do a quick round of a few questions. So that I randomly thought of on the plane from DC yesterday. So or a couple days ago. So is fiber the new protein? Protein is all over my Instagram ads. It's protein, 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 protein. And I was actually at the DOC conference and we were talking about protein. But is fiber actually the new protein? So that's just a question. And whoever wants to share. This is pepper round, so just whatever you want to share. Yeah. Whoever wants to go. Do you have an opinion? I would think you
I'd say
do.
yes. I'd say it's probably a couple years off.
Okay.
So protein is very much the trend of today, and everyone's looking for protein now. You look at kind of what quantities of protein are significant. People view 10 grams as a snack and 20 grams of protein as a meal. So that's still front and center in all the consumer research we've done. Lagging close behind that's fiber. So it might not quite be as mainstream today as protein, but we believe that's next. You talk about gut health trends, other aspects, we think fiber's next. It's not quite there yet, but we think it's catching up quickly.
Yeah, the power of the microbiome, like some of the research that we were hearing today. Okay, I love that. Thank you. Also bring those. I didn't know the whole trend. Anyone else?
I've got a strong.
Yeah. Oh, let's hear.
That doesn't surprise most people.
Pepper, let's go.
Within our group, Gardner group, Sonnenberg group, 100% fiber is and should be. But I was just in a meeting yesterday with Ethan Brown and some folks, and somebody was talking about fiber maxing. Evidently, fiber maxing is a thing. It's on Instagram, social media.
Coming to TikTok near you
I don't know.
soon.
My kiddo's only 12, so we don't do social media yet. But evidently, so I'm hoping that social media it up. I don't know, hashtag fibermax or something.
Yeah, fiber's coming. Fiber's
I don't
coming
know.
for us. I
But
love
yeah,
it.
it is.
Okay, next round, because I want to keep this peppery. Organic or veggies? You can start with your opinion.
Why are you making me choose?
That's exactly.
I think both are tremendous,
Wonderful.
personally. We want to provide choice for consumers. I run our organic program, so I'm biased. I like to say organic, but there are some cost implications and some assured supply implications that come with farming organically. So having a conventional offering to expand access to fruits and vegetables at the right price point is important as well. So I'm an advocate for both, even though my heart's on the organic side.
Anyone else?
I used to be veg until I started hanging out with Kat Taylor and Dan Kittenridge and people who started talking about soil science. And so now I've swung to the org side. My farmer is actually here, and he likes to say...
Can you raise your hand, farmer, so people know? What does he like to say? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yes, let's clap for the farmer. Absolutely.
I'll probably butcher this, and he can correct me later. He says he doesn't really grow fruits and vegetables. He farms soil.
That's beautiful. Okay.
What's fascinating, though, on that is
Please.
if you farm both, you learn quickly that you need to incorporate organic practices into conventional. From a crop rotation standpoint, from a soil health standpoint, in order to have a healthy, viable crop, we're seeing more and more organic practices still funnel their way into conventional, even though it's still technically conventional. It's just the right thing to do. It's better for the soil. It's better for the product at the end of the day.
I love that in the speed round, we're already seeing that both. It's not an or, it's a both, and there's so much nuance and complication to everything. Okay, healthy, okay, fine. Healthy and or delicious. I'll make it less peppery.
I won't. I'm curious.
Yeah, Anya.
Have you?
I would say both again. But I think there's ways to make healthy meals delicious, as we've learned through Eat Real. But yeah, I think there's so much, not stigma, but I think lots of teenagers will see vegetables and just not want to eat them or just turn them away. But there's so many ways I've learned, even on Instagram again, there's always new meals and new recipes that incorporate healthy vegetables into just meals that I would eat, and I know I would eat a lot of Eat Real's lunches too. So yeah, I think both.
And actually, Professor Gardner mentioned the Instagram video on Eat Real Certified Instagram, not to give my team an Instagram shout out, but there is a recipe of him cooking the school taco bowl, plant-powered taco bowl from Natomas Unified. So you can go check it out and get it cooking healthy. Okay, one question for you really quickly, Anya, this is dedicated for you. What should leaders here keep in mind when they're designing solutions, research initiatives, et cetera, for students?
I think just listening to students' voices, whether that be hosting taste tests at schools or just creating surveys for just people to voice their opinions. I think that's the main thing. And yeah, I think just listening to students and making sure that students have a voice in what fuels their mind and their bodies. So yeah, I think that's the thing.
So in closing, are there any final burning remarks that you have or key takeaways or things that you'd like to leave our incredible group with? Michael, were you gonna go for it?
Go for it.
Bruce?
I'll go, sure. Nora, as you mentioned, this is a urgent problem right now. You look at the health trends of our country, this is a serious issue today. What's kind of nice about it, though, is it's truly a win-win. In this hyper-political, hyper-politicized environment we're in, everyone benefits from increasing consumption of healthy, fresh produce at a young age. Healthcare costs go down, quality of life goes up. This is truly a way for us to build a win-win, but it's gonna take all of us in this room. It's gonna take public-private partnership. It's gonna take institutions. It's gonna take nonprofits. It's something we need to work together on, but we can truly generate a win-win for society, which is pretty exciting.
I love it. I love ending on a win-win. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your leadership. And please, please, please come find us in the breakout. Find us at the delicious lunch. Maybe we'll have some school food items in there next year. And find us at the closing event as well. Thank you.
Thank you.